All right, I see some calls for concern on ADA here in the next few days, maybe couple of weeks, and I want to talk about that in this video right now. To get us started, we're going to look at one of my favorite tools that I like to use, that is tradingview.com, and we're going to look at the technical analysis for ADA. We'll start on the daily time frame. Before we do, here's the disclaimers for this video. Be sure to check it out. It will also be found in the description of the video. Looking at the 1 day, ADA is showing neutral oscillators, sell, moving averages, neutral. Let's look at a longer time frame. 1 week, we're looking at a buy on oscillators and a strong buy on moving averages. And on the 1 month, we also see a buy. Scroll down, oscillators are neutral, moving averages are a buy. Let's look at some price. If you recall, and if you've been watching ADA, then you remember this big run up across crypto and in ADA specifically from October, where we were roughly around 0.025. We had this fantastic run up in December, reaching a high of about 0.068, somewhere around the 13th of December. Now, toward the end of December, or the middle to end of December, we were stuck in this range of 0.055 to 0.068. We stayed in that range for almost a month. These blue lines right here indicated price tightening. We were seeing lower highs, higher lows, which is coiling us up into this spring loaded price action, which indicated we were going to break up or down. At that point, at the beginning of the year, I assumed we were going to blast out and that we would start challenging the highs. One reason I thought that is because Bitcoin on the 2nd of January was breaking 45,000. It had broken out of its range and was challenging the 45,000. A lot of coins were challenging their highs, and it looked like we were setting up for a fantastic start to January. But that has not turned out to be the case. If you recall, on January 3rd in Bitcoin, we had a flush that took us from 45,005 down to about 41.5. That came from unsubstantiated and ultimately false rumors that the SEC had denied the Bitcoin ETFs. That flush happened on January 3rd for me, and in ADA it looked like this. This is the 3rd of January, which caused us to break out of the range and caused us to break out of this spring loaded price wedge. So we did not break up as I had hoped and assumed we would. Instead, we broke down based on false rumors. Nonetheless, ADA has not done a good job of recovering since. We fell below this important level of 0.52, almost hit 0.45. We have over the past 4 or 5 days started creeping back up. And part of this, actually probably all of it, was due to the fact that the Bitcoin ETFs were approved, and that's why you see these green bars right here. But I see a problem on Bitcoin, which I think is going to roll down to Cardano. Here's the problem on Bitcoin in December. This is December right here. We saw a nice rising channel that even held the Bitcoin flush right here. Even the Bitcoin flush was bad. Bitcoin lost about 8 to 10% of its value in a day, but even this channel still held that fall, and we were looking good. Then, a few days before the approvals of the ETF, Bitcoin started poking out of the channel and started challenging 47 and 48,000. After the approvals of the ETF, we did tap 48,000. Actually, looked like we tapped 49. But things have not been good since then. We have experienced a pretty good fall the last 2 days in Bitcoin. It does look like price had been moving up in Bitcoin on hopes that we would have the ETFs approved. And once those ETFs were approved, people are now taking profits based on those trades. I've also seen some other people that I follow saying 48 to 50,000 is a big resistance level right here for Bitcoin. And so far it has proven to be so. and that they are expecting a pretty big, deep decline, correction, whatever you want to call it, where Bitcoin can base and then hopefully start looking for new highs. All this to say, Bitcoin is dragging us down. Even look at the weekly. This is a nasty weekly. Look at that big old pin, this big old wick. This means price went up. People were happy with it for a while, and then sellers came in, knocked this price down. We're clearly going to close this week below 48,000. Looks like we're going to close it below 45,000, and it's not going to surprise me for Bitcoin to go back down to 42. Perhaps this channel will save it, or perhaps it breaks through and we start looking at 40 again. Either way, this resistance in Bitcoin has proven substantial, and it looks like we're getting some post-approval blues reflected in Bitcoin, and that's only going to hurt ADA. Of course, the weekly doesn't look as bad, or doesn't look bad at all on Bitcoin or ADA. We have a much smaller wick. We still have a green bar, so things aren't lost, but I am seeing us making some lower lows and lower highs. Okay, lower lows and lower highs. I said this was the high. Here's a low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, perhaps a lower low. We're going to have to watch the next few days and weeks to find out, can ADA go up, or is it going to fall with Bitcoin, assuming Bitcoin continues to fall, and challenge this 0.52 and eventually this 0.46 level again. This 0.46 level comes from the swing high back in April of 23. It could be somewhere around here. It's not exact science. If I moved it right here, almost to the top of that and almost to the bottom of that, that's at 0.46 and some change, and that looks like a good spot where we might range. If we find that ADA does not break this for a higher high, that's this daily bar right here, and continues on down, I do think we will eventually start looking at falling into this range. Not forever, and I don't even, that's not a bad thing, but I think we're going to end up falling back into this range right here. Let's not be all doom and gloom. None of us want to end on a sad note. Let's look at where we have been. Here is zoomed out on the weekly, and you've got to remember that just back in October, we were around 0.25. Those were the same levels we had been at even back in January of 23. So almost a year ago, we were at 0.25, and now we're still double 0.25 and have some gains firmly in hand. Even if we fall, we're still only talking right now, falling down to 0.46, and that's nothing compared to the lows of 0.25. So long term, ADA is still looking fine. Long term, crypto is looking great. Long term, I hold ADA. Long term, thumbs up. But I think on the short term, this is over the next few days to weeks, we might find us falling into this range and battling to this 0.46. I could be wrong. Like I said on another video, I could wake up in 2 days and find Bitcoin sitting at 52,000 and ADA sitting at 0.70 and rising. You never know with crypto. I'm just going by the pattern and what looks to be the attitude of the market and price action right now. Either way, we'll take a look at that. Keep an eye on ADA. Please come back for further updates, and I'll be sure to keep you in the know. All right, take care.